We were up before sunrise, eager for a new day and yet apprehensive about the weather. A quick look outside didn't help. It was socked in with fog. Today, the plan was to visit Cape Flattery, the northwest corner of the continental United States. It was supposed to be one of the highlights of the trip, and also our first planned hike. I was determined to do it, rain or shine. As we headed north on the 101 to the 113, the sun began to rise and the fog began to lift. Then we saw the first blue sky that we had seen in a couple of days. My mood began to brighten by the time we hit the coast. The drive along the Strait of Juan de Fuca was spectacular, and it remained that way all the way out to the Makah tribal lands and Cape Flattery. As you enter the reservation, there is a sign that makes it quite clear that drugs and alcohol are not tolerated here. And there are signs all along the road that reiterate that message. Even though marijuana is legal in the state of Washington, tribal lands are their own nation with their own laws, and it is clear they are serious about it. The break in the clouds was a welcome sight, although it was apparent it could change at the drop of a hat. And the drive out to the Cape was really nice. The Cape Flattery trailhead is about 4 miles past the tribal center. There's a nice parking lot, and there are clean restrooms. Right from the start of the hike, you are in thick, dark forest, and to just say it is beautiful does not do it justice. When we were here, it was in between storms. Everything was wet, and the air was crisp and clean. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm from Los Angeles, and I get a little nervous when I can't see what I'm breathing. But I have to admit, this was nice. The 3/4 mile trail is steep in some places and tricky in others, but overall it is well maintained, and even for someone in my condition, a pleasure to hike. When we got to the first overlook, it made everything we went through the day before worth it, and the shots I got here would make the whole trip. We just sat there for a time, letting the cameras roll. Then all of a sudden, the light changed, and I knew the weather would be changing right behind it. I still wanted to shoot some pictures at the sea caves, so we grabbed our gear and rushed over to the other lookout. The lighting was not quite as vibrant here as I would have liked, but we got some great photos nonetheless. About this time, it started to rain, so we packed up the gear, put on our ponchos, and headed back to the car. Then began to hail. As if it wasn't challenging enough with the rain, now it was hailing on us. Did I mention that this was the first hike I had taken in years? At least the rain ponchos worked. There was no place for me to fly our drone here, but it did stay dry. We slogged our way up the hill, and when we got to the car, even though I was drenched in sweat and my ankles and knees were swollen up like grapefruits, I had made it. My physical condition has a long way to go, but I feel in spite of my pain, this was an important step. So, the first hike and location we had planned to photograph was done. Cut a little short by the rain, but that was lifting again, and here it was only mid-morning. So we had lots of time to explore the local area around Forks. On the way back, we noticed a sign saying La Push Beach, so we decided to check it out. What we discovered was quite a surprise, called the Quileute Oceanside Resort. It was on a beautiful beach littered with driftwood on a unique scale. It was so beautiful we couldn't resist and decided to stay the night. The cabins here are like apartments with jacuzzi tubs, fireplaces, and an incredible view. Earlier I mentioned the unique scale of the driftwood on the beach. Here you're going to find full trees, root systems and all. And when I said scale, I meant huge. I mean huge. The wind was blowing fairly good, but I decided to fly the drone in spite of it. Although I'm still learning how to control this thing, I got some good footage. We spent the rest of the day relaxing on this beautiful beach. This nice little resort was the perfect backdrop for the most romantic night of our trip. When we went to sleep this night, my back, legs, and feet were screaming at me, but we were refreshed and relaxed with a renewed enthusiasm for our trip and a whole lot better attitude than it was a mere 24 hours prior. So there you have it, day 2 of our border-to-border trip. I hope you're enjoying it. We'll come back each day to see where we're at and what we're doing on our adventure. So until tomorrow, this is Hugh saying so long.